Welcome to Dread Vale, where chilling stories and dark legends come to life. Subscribe, follow, and share if you're ready to cross the veil.
The Last Guest. By the time you hear the knock, it's already too late. When Amelia Rivers received the letter, she almost threw it away. A crumbling Victorian estate deep in New Hampshire? From a grandmother she hadn't seen since she was 6? She barely remembered the woman. Just fragments, a rose-scented shawl, cold blue eyes, and whispered lullabies that always seemed wrong. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. Amelia, reeling from a recent breakup and suffering severe writer's block, decided a quiet retreat might help. She packed her notebooks, her laptop, and her doubts, and drove through miles of pine-thick wilderness until the road ended at Gravenhurst Manor. It looked like it had been dropped out of time. The iron gate groaned like a dying animal. The windows watched her, and when she stepped inside, it felt like the air sighed, like the house had been holding its breath, waiting. Everything was intact: dust-free books, fresh sheets on the bed, a firewood stack ready by the hearth. It was impossible. No caretaker had been listed in the will. Amelia found a portrait of her grandmother above the fireplace, her expression solemn, but behind her painted eyes, sadness. Or maybe warning. That night, Amelia wrote until the candle burned low. Until she heard soft knocking from inside the walls. She froze, then laughed it off. Old houses groan, creak, shift. But when she passed a hallway mirror, her reflection didn't follow her immediately. It lingered just a second too long. On the second day, Amelia found the guest book. It had been tucked away beneath the living room floorboards, sealed with wax. Inside were dozens of names, people who had supposedly visited Gravenhurst across the decades. But none of them ever left a comment. No dates, just names. And one entry stood out. Amelia Rivers, 1997. Age: 6. The girl with the hollow dreams. She didn't remember ever visiting. That night, the dreams returned. A mirror, a long hallway, a whisper. Don't become the last guest. Amelia began to change. She slept less. Her eyes darkened. Her dreams bled into her waking hours. She started seeing doors that didn't exist the day before. Doors that led to nowhere. Or worse, to memories she didn't know she had. Birthday parties that never happened, a woman's voice singing her to sleep in a language that twisted in her mind. Then came the knock. 3 soft knocks. From inside the attic. She opened it. There, beneath a tarp, was a massive mirror, framed in bone-white wood, cracked slightly down the center. She knew what it was. The journal beside it confirmed her fear. Her grandmother had been obsessed. The last entries read, "I thought the house wanted death. But it wants memory. It keeps us. It reflects us. And when the mirror is full, it lets one go. But not before it has a replacement. I see her in the glass now. The girl with the hollow dreams." Amelia stared into the mirror, and her reflection smiled. Not her. Not anymore. She turned to run, but the door was gone. The attic had twisted, stretching outward into a corridor of flickering lights and whispers. The house had swallowed her. And then, she saw them. The others. Pale, silent figures trapped inside the mirror's glass. Some wept, some screamed, others stared blankly ahead, as though they'd accepted eternity. And in the center, waiting for her, her grandmother. She reached out, pleading, "You can still leave, Amelia. But someone else must take your place." Amelia was a writer, and writers, more than anyone, understand the power of story. So she wrote. For 2 days straight, she sat in the attic, scribbling, The Last Guest, weaving her fear, her memories, and the truth of Gravenhurst into a compelling tale. She posted it online, made it viral, gave the address, gave the legend, framed it as an urban mystery, a writer's challenge to visit and document the experience. And it worked. 1 year later, the mirror now hangs silently in the attic, cracked but whole. Inside, Amelia's reflection is gone. Outside, the wind howls through the trees as a young man in a yellow raincoat walks up the path with a GoPro, filming for his channel. The house creaks, eager. The door swings open by itself. And in the attic, something begins to smile. Gravenhurst only ever needed a storyteller. Someone to bring the guests. And now Amelia Rivers is free. But someone else has become the last guest.